had to run by work, get a couple things done. But we went to Cars and Coffee, me and Gear rolled up there. Didn't film anything at all. It was so freaking hot. It's still 90 something. Gosh, it was awful. But yeah, so I'm sure you can tell by the title what we're going to be talking about. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So when I decided that I no longer wanted the Vet, I wanted to get something else. Had a couple choices, and you know, I really was convinced that I wanted a Camaro. So I really like the 6th gen Camaros. The 5th gens are all right. ZL1s are awesome and everything. But I've never been a huge, like, oh my gosh, I love this car until the 6th gens. I really like the way they look. The front ends are not 100% amazing, but I really love the back of those cars. And the front ends can look really good with a couple things done to them. But, and you know, they're 455 horse, 455 torque, I think. So, really good performers. They can come with really nice interiors and everything. So I really thought I wanted a Camaro. So yeah, me and Darla actually drove 2 hours to go look at one, and ended up, you know, I told myself I really was only interested in one car, or one, you know, spec car. It was white, automatic, 2SS, brown interior. Didn't have the active exhaust, but you know, I'm gonna swap the exhaust on everything anyway, so that did not matter whatsoever. But so we drove 2 hours, planned on getting the car. It was a 2017, I believe, but they'd had it for almost a year now. So you know, I was thinking they'd have their ad online had been a year. So I was really thinking that they were gonna. I was really thinking that they were gonna have a good price. You know, they'd be able to work with me real good. And I talked to the salesman and everything. He seemed really motivated to, you know, work with me and get the car gone. And so we drove up there, and it was advertised to have 6 miles on it. So we got there, and you know, the car looked really good. Was sitting out front. I'd never been in a 6th gen Camaro before, so I didn't really know exactly how I would like it, but I knew I liked the way they look and performed, so we were going to check it out. So I got there, cranked it up. First thing I see, car's got 300 and something miles on it. So, you know, I do know that they've had it for a year and people test drive cars and stuff, but, you know, 300 miles on a break-in on a brand new engine is a lot of miles, especially if they're all test driven stuff. Most of the times when people test drive cars, they get in it, they floor it. So that's really not good for an engine. And so I was like, man, this is pretty stupid. You know, this is advertised for 6 miles. If the mileage is 300 extra miles, they should change their advertisement. They should change the ad. So I was pretty pissed off, honestly, because I drove 2 hours to get there. But then I was thinking, you know, well, surely they'll take off, you know, a couple $100, a couple grand. I don't know, you know. Surely they'll work with me, because it is way more miles than advertised. And I know it's still a new car because it's not been purchased and, you know, insured or whatever it's called. But, you know, it's 300 miles on a car. That's not a new car to me. But I was thinking, you know, they'll work some. So we took it out for a drive. First of all, it looked really good. Had the brown interior, which I absolutely love. You know, it had a sunroof, had heated and cooled seats, had basically everything. Like I said, except for the active exhaust. And so we took it for a drive. Now, keep in mind, the only other sports car automatics that I've dealt with are C706s and Hellcats. So obviously those cars in automatic form are a lot of fun because simply how fast and powerful they are. So this might be why I didn't fall in love with this side of it, because honestly the car did not feel fast. You know, I know it outperforms the S550 Mustang in 0 to 60, quarter mile, all that. I know it's faster, but it did not feel faster. Did not feel near as peppy or as fun. It just pretty much kind of felt sluggish. So I was like, man, you know, I really don't know if I want to get an automatic, because, you know, that's kind of takes a lot of the fun out. So, but you know, I was like, well, man, I can tune it, put exhaust on it. Doesn't take much for those cars to really have a lot of power. So yeah, we're driving it, and it didn't feel that great. I'm not gonna lie. I know they have great potential. They probably it just was weird not having a lot of power at the automatic. So yeah. But it was really nice in there. It was really annoying the way that the screen's laid out. Super nice screen, touch screen, worked very well, everything. But the way it's slanted, and I know they supposedly did that to prevent the sun from glaring on it and whatnot. That is a total flaw in design. Like, I would much rather struggle with the sun glaring on it than it being designed how it is and angled like that. So I really did not like that. Which, that's not a deal breaker or anything. But, I really did not feel comfortable in the car. They do have, they have the sleek hood, roof, and everything because, the windows are short and everything like that. So there is a bunch of blind spots. It's pretty hard to see out of the car, honestly. And even, I'm like 5'8", and my head was like I've got several inches here. I probably had an inch in that Camaro from the roof, which that's a little, I didn't really like that at all. And that was with the seat down. So, it's a good thing I didn't fall in love with it, because once we got back to the dealership, they were pretty much a-holes and didn't want to take off any money for the extra mileage and stuff like that. And so, I basically just told them, screw it, I'll just drive home. I'll just forget it. I'll just waste my afternoon talking to y'all, because like the owner or manager came in there, and he was just an a-hole. I mean, he was talking about, he's like, yeah, this car can sit on my lot and not cost me a dime. It's paid for. And I was like, bro, you're gonna talk to me like that? I'm potentially buying this car. Like, you can shove that thing up your butt, dude. Like, he was the most unprofessional dude ever. He was talking about how, certain car, because I told him, I was like, you've had this thing for a year now. It was like, certain cars sell better, and he was talking to me all about how their trucks sell better at a certain month that you wouldn't think they would sell. I was like, dude, this thing's been here for a year. It's seen every month of the year. And they were just jerks for real. So I basically just told them to, I just wasn't gonna do nothing with them. And if I remembered what the dealership name was, I would freaking blast them, because that's how bad they made me, how mad they made me by acting like that. But I don't remember what it was called. It was in Auburn, Alabama. So if you're gonna buy a Chevrolet, don't buy it from Auburn. Yeah. So we were walking out, and the salesman that I had talked to previously was like, yeah, man, I'm sorry, I would have told you about the extra miles had I thought it was going to be a problem. I was like, dude, who's it not a problem with? It's 300 miles on a new car. And then we got out there, and they had cleaned it up and brought it out front, because they were actually, it was past their closing time. And so the car wash people just went ahead and washed it, even if I didn't get it, which obviously I didn't. But, I walked out there, and I don't know if they did it when they were back there washing it, or I just overlooked it, because I did look the car over really good. I thought there's a huge door ding right in the side of the door. I'm talking about like a massive, you cannot miss monster ding. And I was like, wow, y'all have fun with that car. So we left it, and basically it came down to, I didn't love Camaros. That's why I didn't go drive a manual Camaro, because basically I just didn't feel comfortable in it. I didn't fall in love with it. So I didn't want to get another car that I was not perfectly comfortable in and happy with, and just it didn't feel good to me. So sorry, you Camaro guys, I let you down. I still love the 6th gen Camaros. They're super awesome, but just didn't treat me right. So yeah. So the next car, let's go ahead and, I don't know if y'all can hear me when I'm actually driving. So but the next car, I actually went and looked at a used Hellcat, because I was going to get rid of the Cruise and the Vet and just daily drive a Hellcat. And I actually went and tried to work some numbers with this place, and they were wanting like way too much for a used one. Like, they were like wouldn't budge a bit on it, and you know, why pay a few, you know, 5-10 grand less with something that's used? And you know, I'm pretty sure it was an as-is car. Most of those are. So why, you know, you're not going to sell those when someone can go and, I mean, in the world of financing, you can, if you have a big down payment or a good credit score, you can get anything financed, bro. Like why get something financed for 50 grand used as is, or you can go get one financed for 60 grand that's brand new? You know, obviously you're going to pay more money, but you know, in the world of people financing stuff, you can't sell used cars like that. And this is the same place that had a 2016 Hellcat manual new car. They had got it window tinted, and it was an $800 option for window tint. So they were freaking crazy. But then, you know, I kind of came to a realization that, you know, a Hellcat just was not smart. My dad and Rodney both have one at the house, so I have access to them. Completely amazing cars. It was nothing against the car itself. So awesome. I would, you know, if I had a boatload of money, I would totally daily drive a Hellcat, no questions asked. But they get really bad gas mileage. They're really expensive off the bat. And if I had access to one, I would just destroy the tires all day, every day. So, yeah, I'd be belly up and crying by the time, you know, that car was a year old, just from wear and tear, because they're too fun not to beat on it. We gotta turn some air on. Stat, bros. Alright, guys. So the final option I had, and the reason I didn't really want a scat pack or anything like that, because I really do like scat packs. Didn't really want them because, like I said, Dad and Rodney both have Hellcats, so, you know, I'm not really crazy about a Challenger and Charger. I mean, they're really cool, but they just feel a little too big for me for, you know, having fun and whatnot. They are, scat packs do perform well, but you know, just not my first choice. So yeah. All right, so I did not think I wanted another S197. Actually, I knew I didn't want another S197, but I did, however, remember about the Boss 302. So the first Mustang I ever sat in, it was earlier than like the 06 model. It was a 2013 Boss 302. Got to have it green. I was sitting on a dealer floor. It was like late 2012, and that was right when I was first thinking I wanted a Mustang, my first car. And first Mustang, just sold my F-150 for any of you OG subscribers. So had me a little money, and I wanted to get me a Mustang. So I actually went in, sat in it and everything. But you know, it was the first year. It just came out, that body style, and they wanted like $40-something thousand for it. And at the time, you know, I was like 19 years old, had just started working a full-time job. It didn't make sense to me to spend $40-something thousand. I found Gotta Have It Green, Boss 302, and this car at the same dealer. So I've always really liked Grabber Blue, but I've never just decided that I was going to go all out and get a color this bright. You know, the Vet was super bright yellow, but it was a Vet and everything. So on a Mustang, I just didn't know if I would be, you know, really wanted this bright of a color. But I had made my mind up that I really did want a bright color like this on this car. It was either this or ruby red or white, but mainly this Grabber Blue or ruby red. So you know, they had them at the same place. I figured, what the heck, you know, even if I'm not crazy about the Boss, you know, I would still love to go drive it. So we went up there, and you know, the Boss had 26,000 miles on it. The tires were a little low tread, so it's probably had a hard life. So my view on it might not represent all Bosses, but this car itself, I wanted to drive it first and then this car, because I pretty much knew I wanted to get this car. This car was actually cheaper than the Boss, with 26,000 miles and a 2013 model, but which is, you know, good for people that bought them originally because they really have held their value. But yeah, so side by side, the Boss and this is the base model, so they're pretty comparable. The Boss obviously has Recaros, but as far as like what you get, this has all the good information gauges and track apps and everything. It actually has several features that the Boss doesn't have, as far as the digital stuff. But so yeah, we took off in the Boss. First thing I noticed was how stiff the clutch was. Super weird. I mean, it was like really short and really stiff, so it could have had an aftermarket clutch in it, I don't know, but definitely did not like that. The shifter in it was super duper notchy, which for the 15 and up cars, I think they did something with the shifter itself because it feels a whole lot better. So it was super notchy, which is MT82. So if it's had 26,000 miles of abuse, you can see why it wouldn't feel that good. So we took off in it, and this is a 331 car. That's obviously a 373 car. So I thought it would be a lot more peppy feeling than this car. However, that was not the case. The Boss isn't known for having much torque. I actually had the intake manifold on my last car for a little while, and it did kill a lot of torque. You can feel it pick up in the high RPMs, but for your normal driving, you can tell it did not loss in torque. So that could have been why I didn't feel as good as this car. But and I didn't like redline or anything, but I wrung it out a little bit, and it just didn't feel right. I don't know if maybe that Boss, it just, like I said, it just had a hard life and was just obviously abused, which is I wouldn't have got that car had I decided that I wanted to get a Boss, just because that one was in such rough shape. But the way that this new chassis or body style, suspension and everything is, it's so much better than the last generation as far as your everyday driving. It might not be better for building a drag car or whatever, but for normal driving, it's so much smoother, such a planted feel. This car with 331s and the independent rear suspension, I don't know if it's the lower gearing or the independent suspension, but this puts down power a whole lot better than my last car did that had 373s. So yeah, I'm not sure, but then obviously I drove this car right after I got out of the Boss. Instantly fell in love with it. It has everything that I need. Didn't really have any complaints about it. The new body style, I really like it. Everything felt good. So yeah, it was just, I didn't want another S197 because this pretty much outperforms it in every way that there is, including the engine. I guess the S550 engines are pretty comparable to the Boss engine. I know they're not the exact same as the Roadrunner, but as far as power capabilities, they're pretty similar, which is obviously a good bit better, a good bit stronger than the S197 engines, the original Cody engines they came out with. So yeah, but I guess that's gonna about do it, guys. Camaro, super awesome, just wasn't for me. Didn't absolutely fall in love with it, and there were certain things about it that probably would have bugged me over the ownership of the car. Hellcat, would love that car, just too much money, not a smart decision. So for an only car, to me anyway. So yeah, absolutely would. I love Hellcats to death, but just not for me at this time. And then the Boss 302. maybe had I driven a fresh one or a new one, I might feel better. Obviously, I still wouldn't pick an S197 over an S550 just because this has so much more benefits than that car. But yeah, so all cars mentioned, super awesome, love them. Would own any of them and really, you know, not have a big complaint about it at all. But as far as the whole package, price, performance, quality, everything that I wanted, S550's got it, and I'm super happy with it. Loving this car. The more stuff I do to it, just the more I fall in love with it, and really no complaints so far, other than one little squeak or rattle or something, which y'all might can actually hear. I've got to track that down and somehow fix it. So yeah, other than that, guys, I guess that's gonna do it, and I'll see y'all in the next video.